Welcome to Colonie TV, the governmental educational channel for the town of Colonie.
Hi, I'm Supervisor Paula Mahan, and welcome to Colonie Connect. Today, my guest is Commissioner of Public Works, John Cunningham.
How are you
Hi,
today,
Jack.
Paula?
How are you?
Good.
Well, we have a lot of topics here to talk about. There are a lot of things going on in the Department of Public Works.
You keep us very busy.
You're very busy, yes. One of the things that's probably most current to this time of the year is snow plowing. And we've been pretty fortunate so far. We've missed some major storms and had little pieces here and there. But overall, how are we doing compared to other years?
Well, our winter unfortunately has not been as mild as it was last year. We've had a few storms, and what residents may not recognize also is even when we have those very, very light snowstorms, we still need to get out and salt those roads to make sure that they're safe for passage. So we're holding our own. We're within budget for what we planned for the year, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for the rest of the winter that we don't have any major snowstorms. But we're doing well, and we had some salt coming into the year from last year's mild winter. So it's been a pretty good winter so far.
Yeah, great. And I know the last few years we've been using a process of pre-salting before we even plow. And we have received a lot of positive comments that it seems like the roads are being plowed better or closer coverage of the snow to the road site and things like that. And can you explain a little bit about what the rationale is for the pre-salting? Because I don't think it's something that we've done forever.
That's correct. And we can't do it every time we're having a snowstorm. It depends on the magnitude of the storm and also the timing of the storm. But particularly since we've had our second shift working in the highway department, what we do is if we know we get a storm coming in the evening or early in the morning, we take advantage of the second shift to do pre-salting on roads that don't have a lot of traffic at nighttime. So it's usually residential roads off the main path. And what that does is when the snow hits and it starts up, that salt that's already on the road keeps those roads clear. So as the storm comes on, the roads will remain clear for those residents, and we can focus on the major routes where you've got a lot of traffic and make sure that the roads are safe for those people as well. So it's a big plus for us as far as operational workflow goes, but it's also great for the residents because the roads stay pretty clear through a snowstorm. It's pretty amazing.
And it's usually the residents are, when they call, they're talking about their streets, so it's in their neighborhoods. And I noticed the last big storm that we prepared for that hit the New England area, I think it was Massachusetts, Maine, Connecticut, parts of New York State. We did get some snow, but as it came a little bit later. But the little bit that we did get in the beginning of the storm, I noticed the roads were completely clear, but you could see maybe a half an inch or so on the lawns, and a perfect example of how well that process works. Because we do get calls also from residents: why are we using salt on the roads if they're just going to be plowed or whatever? And again, it's all part of that process of making it much easier and allowing the trucks to be able to plow the main roads while the residential streets are a little clearer so that people can get to work and get to school and all those types of things. So it does work. It does work. It's a good addition to the way that we prepare for the storms. But how long does it take for all the trucks to prepare with all the plows and all the materials and the shifts getting allocated to, each group and things like that. It's quite a process.
It's a very big process, and it's storm dependent. I mean, on a lighter storm, we can get through the entire town salting in maybe 3 to 4 hours. On a heavier storm, we've spent more than 24 hours in the time plowing.
Wow.
So it all depends on how much snow we get and when it arrives and how we have to handle it. So
well, everyone's doing a great job. So
thank you.
Thank you to all the guys and yourself that put all the work into this. And I know you're on the Emergency Operations Committee with me as well. And when we have notice of these big storms coming, there's a lot of proactive work that takes place. And I think for a couple of the major storms that we were supposed to get that we didn't get, we were all prepared in the Emergency Operations Center. And of course, Department of Public Works staff is, they're on the phone with us continually on the radios to make sure of what we hear that's coming here or there. And sometimes we get something major, and sometimes we sit and wait and watch, and we're prepared. But I guess it's a good thing if nothing happens.
I'd rather be prepared and have nothing happen
exactly.
than the opposite.
I feel the same way. So, but we certainly have a large group of vehicles of all different types, and there's a lot of maintenance just on those, and trying to prepare as to which ones are breaking down and what do we have in reserve and all these kinds of things. So it's an ongoing operation.
That it is.
Also from DPW, are we in our 4th year of the paving plan, or
That
5th?
would be
4th.
correct. 4th year.
4th year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're in the 4th year. Again, people are very happy to see the streets getting paved. This is a 5-year program.
Correct.
And we've done quite a bit so far. And living in the Northeast, we can only do the work when the weather is conducive to that. So about how many miles so far have we paved?
In the first 4 years, we've covered, or I'm sorry, in the first 3 years, we've covered about 35 miles of road.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
It's only, unfortunately, only a little more than 10% of all of our roads, but it's still a significant amount of paving that we've done, and it's had a noticeable impact on the residents.
Well, hopefully this 4th year and the 5th year will go well, and I'm sure we'll have more work after that.
Oh,
That's
I'm sure.
something that never ends, but it's good to know that the program's in place, and it's definitely a positive thing for us, for the town. Also, another big area, we've talked about this before, is the stormwater management plans that the mandates continue to change, and we have to continue to be educated as to what needs to be done in order for development to take place. I think, several years back when the mandates came into place, it was very difficult for developers to understand all the changes and the need for it. And now it's people are well aware of it, what needs to be done. And so, that's ongoing to protect our water, water systems and things like that. So.
Yeah. And as we get development coming into town, we always try and take advantage of that development to see where we can work with developers to improve our existing system or to repair some of our existing systems. I know with the Latham Circle Mall, which is now, I saw the backhoes up there, they've started that. We worked with DOT and the developer to make some improvements over there to help improve our stormwater system. So we're always looking for opportunities to leverage a new development with existing infrastructure and benefit the taxpayers at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I've heard too that, as you say, a lot of times with a new development, it really takes care of more of the water, the runoff, and so the impact is a positive one on the existing neighborhoods.
Correct.
And because the town of Colonie, the types of soils and the water tables are high, so it's ongoing.
Yes.
But that again, we have our crew that works on that continually, along with the developers as we get new projects. Another thing that we have initiated over the past year, the leaf pickup program.
Yes.
And this year we'll be doing the whole entire town.
This will be our second year. Last year we began doing the leaf pickup with town employees and town vehicles. That work used to be contracted out to county waste.
Yep.
And so last year we took over 4 of the 5 leaf routes that we do on a weekly basis. And this year we'll be taking over that 5th route as well. And so we'll be doing all the leaf pickup through the highway department. We have a number now, 783 LEAF, L-E-A-F.
It's easy to remember.
Yes, and residents can call that if they have any questions regarding the LEAF program. When the next Colonie Chronicle comes out, we'll be outlining what days your neighborhood will be picked up, and we had very good success with that last year, and I expect we'll have great success with it this year. It's saving the town some money, and it's keeping our guys pretty busy.
Yes, they're very busy, and they made that transition last year when they began the program. They did a great job of transitioning from the company to the town, and the trucks, you know, they look great.
Yep.
People can see them going down the street with Town of Colonie on them, and they're a nice improvement as well, because you have to have the trucks to be able to do the leaf pickup. So that's all part of that project, transitioning over. And the district, the one district that the company was doing last year was the Shaker Road Fire District area.
Yes.
And so we will be doing that. And
we will be doing that as well.
Yes. So, you know, again, it's a great program for our residents. It's a free service, which is unique in this day and age. And they do a great job. As you say, it's saving us money, and it's keeping people working at the same time. So those are all good things.
Yep. And I'll just reiterate, with the highway department, they did an excellent job at transitioning that over. It was from the residents' perspective anyway, it seemed very seamless. And so I was very proud of the work and the effort that the guys in the highway department put into making this program a success.
Yes,
They've done a wonderful job.
We've received a lot of calls on that as well. People really appreciate the service, and the guys were doing a great job.
Yep.
So it's another success story.
Yes.
So. And it is saving the town quite a bit of money. I think it was in the range of a couple hundred.
$640,000 was the cost of the program when we contracted it out.
With county
We're
waste.
doing that probably. We're probably saving in the neighborhood of $150,000 to $200,000 a year by doing it in-house.
That's excellent.
And that's with purchasing the equipment. So.
Right. And the Mohawk View Water Treatment Plant.
Yes.
Some folks might not know our treatment plants are down on Onderdonk Road, and we have our water treatment plant there, and we have our Pure Waters, which is our source system, our Pure Waters treatment plant there as well.
Correct.
And there are always ongoing improvements in those two places.
The water plant is a pretty massive operation. At our peak during the summer, we produce about 22 million gallons a day of water out of that plant. And so the equipment down there takes a real beating over the years, and so we're constantly in the process of doing upgrades, particularly on the pumps and, of course, on the filters and things like that, to make sure that the plant stays operational, that we can meet our peak flows in the summer. And so we have our high lift pump program going on right now, which will replace some of the pumps that take the water out of the river and actually lift that water up into the plant. It's a pretty massive pump that needs to be replaced there. So we're doing upgrades over there, along with regular upgrades to the plant, and just keeping it operational and producing clean and award-winning water for the town of Colonie.
Well, now is the time to be making a lot of those improvements, because as you say, the peak season in the summer, you know, people are watering their lawns, filling their pools, all those types of things that are going on. So that's a high season.
Yeah, we need to be ready for them.
Yes. And also some other public Works buildings? Any improvements anyplace else?
Well, this year we put into our capital budget to do some new roof work, or some roof work on some existing buildings. Our operations building, the building that Public Works operates out of, and also our public safety building, which is where the police department is. Those roofs are having some challenges, and so we're going to be bringing contractors in to either repair or replace those roofs.
Okay.
And then also our salt shed, which if anybody's flown on the, I guess it's the east-west runway, you see our salt shed over by the runway. We had some weather damage today or this year that caused a hole in the roof. That roof has been again challenged for a couple of years, so we've got some money in the capital budget to replace that roof as well.
Okay.
So those are the focus on the building structures for this year for the Public Works Department.
Okay. All right. It's just like owning a home.
It is.
You have to continually repair and purchase new
It's a little more
new
expensive
items.
than owning a home.
It's a little
but-
more expensive, but we have a lot more people living in the town than we do in each individual home, so I guess it's all relative.
That's right.
And we've had quite a fiasco with the alarms for our sewer pumps. I know we were going back and forth,
Yeah.
and it was just one of these things where when they were tested, they worked, but then they weren't going off. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we had some interesting events over the last probably 5 months where we've had some pump stations. People may not realize we have about 30 sewer pump stations that actually lift sewage up and get it into a gravity feed situation to get to our plant. And those plants, those pumps work in the same kind of manner as a sump pump. It's when the tank fills up, the pump goes off, it pumps it into the sewer system. And if those pumps don't go off, that tank will overflow and could create some problems for us. And we've had a couple instances where the pump, for one reason or another, wasn't operating, and our alarms didn't work as well. Now we have 2 alarms on each pump station, a first alarm and then a backup. And in those instances, both alarms failed to notify us that the pumps were now operating. So we've taken a look at that whole issue and recognized that these alarm systems are well over 30 years old. They're not state-of-the-art equipment, and so we're doing a major alarm upgrade to all our pump stations. So we started that process about 2 weeks ago. There's some really innovative technology out there that will probably allow us to not only improve our alarm system, but get better information out of those pump stations remotely and do it for a lower price than what we're paying now for our old telephone alarm systems. So we hope to have that project underway in the next month or so and hope to have it completed by the end of the year. But it's an interesting project, and I think that at the end of the day we'll be able to save the taxpayers a few dollars as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you say, they're 30 years old, and it just things don't last forever, so that's another big project that we have going on. We also, our landfill is being operated by Waste Connections, Capital Region Landfills, and we were approached to assist with Hurricane Sandy with the removal of, they were removing the construction debris so that they couldn't begin to rebuild until they could get rid of the construction debris that was all over. And they're still in that process, actually.
Correct.
So they approached the town and the Capital Region's landfill to be able to assist with taking some of that construction debris.
Yes.
And I believe we got some requests from FEMA and also the Army Corps of Engineers.
That's correct.
Along with DEC. And so in collaboration with them and Capital Region Landfills, we are helping to dispose of some of that construction debris.
Correct. The initial wave of that process, well, we had to work, first of all, I should mention that we had to work very closely with both our partners up at the landfill, Capital Region Landfill, and also DEC to get permission to actually exceed our annual tonnage maximum, because we had been running full scale up there, and when the storm came along late in the year, we didn't have a lot of capacity under our existing permit. But we did work with DEC, and DEC gave the town permission to take additional tonnage in there, So we are working now to bring that tonnage in. We've had the first wave of waste that came out of Hurricane Sandy. We got approximately 30,000 tons of waste out of that initial cleanup. The bulk of the cleanup is going down to landfills in Pennsylvania because it's less expensive. Pennsylvania's landfill requirements are not as stringent as New York, so it's less expensive to move waste into Pennsylvania. But there is waste that is coming up, and so we are expecting a second wave sometime in the coming weeks or month. I just read in the paper on this week that Fire Island, they expect to start moving the construction waste off of that island on Saturday.
Okay.
So we should probably be seeing some of that, and then more waste probably in March, April timeframe. Our permit extension for the Hurricane Sandy waste extends till the end of June. So they anticipate that this project will probably go on till the end of June, but it goes in ebbs and flows. We took in the first wave. Things have stopped right now, but we expect another wave to be coming in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And again, this is all construction debris.
Correct.
There's no solid waste, no garbage.
Yes.
And
it's waste that has come out of the homes, like broken furniture, broken material, drywall, things like that. Right,
which we were, happy that we could assist. It certainly is a crisis situation for people living in those areas, such a tragedy, and we were very fortunate to be spared of any type of damage like they had.
Absolutely.
And so it seems to be working well, and I know they were looking at various landfills to be able to bring the debris to. So we're happy to help.
Absolutely.
And it's working out well. And on that topic with the landfill, it's been about a year now, a little over a year since they've been operating. Things are going very well for the town. It was an excellent and is an excellent opportunity to really maximize the benefits of the landfill, as it is the town's greatest asset. As the owners of the landfill, it was our job to find a way to make it productive again, so it was working in a positive way rather than a negative way financially, and also to protect it for the future, to see where was it going to end up if each year the situation was getting financially worse and worse. So it turned out to be an outstanding option. We've done very well from a financial perspective with the upfront payment. We've paid off the general fund deficit. We have set aside the escrow for the landfill debt service. I think a little over $13 million is there for that, which has to be paid yearly, probably about $2.5 million a year. And also the projection for the closing and post-closure fees is a little over, I believe, $24 million, which that has been assumed, that cost has been assumed by Capital Region Landfills when the landfill someday closes, which right now it's a 25-year contract. My guess it'll go 35, 40 years easily with all of the new technology and everything that they have to operate. They just have so many more opportunities as a big corporation. So from the financial perspective, it's fantastic. And the ability to have all of that and retain ownership is just, it's incredible. So we're very happy with that part of it.
I can tell you also from a public works operational perspective, we have Matt McGarry continues to be the main person in charge of the landfill from the town's perspective, and working with Waste Connections up there has been a very positive working relationship. They're very sensitive to the community's needs. They're very sensitive to the environmental needs, and they work very closely with us to make sure that the landfill not only operates correctly, but they looked for ways to enhance the way that the landfill has operated. One of the things that they've done is an extensive investment into our gas field. which people may not realize, but we capture all the gas that's created, the methane gas, and we sell that to a turbine operator to make electricity. And that field needs a lot of adjustments constantly. It gets water and it gets oxygen in it. So managing that field is very difficult, and Waste Connections has been really proactive in making sure that the infrastructure has been improved and that they manage that effectively to make sure that the electricity that we're getting out of there is the maximum that we can. So they've been a great partner up there, and they continue to be. So we've been very happy with that.
It's excellent. And when you talk about improvements, the gas system is one portion. The town for years has had an agreement with an outside company for the gas system. And so that's been in place a long time. But as you say, it needs a lot of monitoring and adjustments and improvements, and they take care of that, as well as any other types of improvements at the landfill. For the town to close a cell and open a new cell and keep things going, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars of improvements.
That's correct.
And this is all something that has been taken over by the company. They incur the cost of any improvements and things like that. So there are just so many benefits that it's working out extremely well. And I'm very happy with the progress the company's been making, and they are a good partner to work with, as you say.
Yeah.
So it's been a very positive experience all the way around. So we'll continue with that, and just hope for many, many more years of positive income flowing into the town. And it is deceiving because when you're operating a landfill, and you'll see this in other municipalities, you can't just look at the revenue that is brought in from tonnage, which is where the main revenue comes from. Because if you're running it, you have to pay for all the costs to operate it. It means all of your staff, all of your the salaries, the benefits, if something breaks down or you need new equipment, insurance, all these types of things have to come out of that revenue. So it's just like running your home. You go to work and you make so much money and you get your paycheck. Well, now you've got to take all your expenses out, and it's what you have left. And unfortunately, before this agreement, we were seeing the amount of tonnage that was coming in and the expenses that were going out. The landfill was operating at a loss.
That's correct.
And it's very difficult to have your greatest asset operating like that. So it's really a much bigger operation than people see, from the outside.
Yep. The interesting aspect of this that again people may not understand is that when you're in the landfill business, waste is a commodity, and it's something you're out seeking in order to make your landfill work. Matt McGarry always says to me, landfills are like sharks. If they stop moving, they die. So you need to keep feeding it with waste. And our ability as a municipality to compete with the private sector, who operates most of the landfills in the region, Pennsylvania, Western New York, was very, very challenged. We could not, these companies have a lot of money to get out and bring that waste in at very low cost to the haulers, and our ability to do that was very difficult. So this arrangement with County Waste has really kind of married the municipal operations with having a private hauler that can compete in that arena. So it's been really a big plus.
And County Waste was the original owner of the company Waste Connections, part of Capital Region Landfills. Waste Connections purchased County Waste.
Correct.
And they purchased, I believe, the transfer station in Clifton Park, and maybe 2 or 3 other locations, maybe even more.
The one thing that they have that's also, you and I went and toured, was the recycling plant, which continues to grow, and which also is something that landfills are now competing with, is the amount of recycling that's going on. It continues to increase, and that takes waste out of a landfill. So if you're operating, it's actually it's difficult when you're trying to raise revenues for your landfill and you're competing with an operation like that.
And this company, Capital Region Landfills, are very big on environmental safeguards and technology and coming up with new technology, working with universities on ways to protect the environment and things like that. So those are all pluses that you can't do, a town can't do on its own because it's just not part of the operation of a town. So those are just some added pluses there. We're almost out of time. We'll just mention two things that we have going on. We have on Loudon Road a sidewalk going from Siena College to Newton Plaza. So we'll be looking to see the progress on that. And we also have a new passive park that will be on River Road where the old water treatment plant was. We took that building down, and our people are doing some of the grading and things like that. So spring, people will see that coming along as well. So those are two major improvements as well.
They're ongoing, yes.
They're ongoing. Well, as usual, we're out of time. I mean, there's a lot to talk about in DPW, so I'll have to have you back. Good. But thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
And it's a great conversation. Look forward to talking about DPW again. Thank you to all our staff in DPW. And thank you for tuning in to Colonie Connect.